Continues here on RT. In Egypt, there's been a dramatic turn in the crackdown on Islamist supporters of the ousted President Mohamed Morsi. A court has ruled that all activities of the Muslim Brotherhood are now banned and ordered a confiscation of its assets. Our correspondent Bel True reports now from Cairo.
This is very significant, particularly when you take it in the context of this huge escalating crackdown on the Islamist group, its members and its supporters. Now, this court case, it was filed by a leftist party earlier this year, who basically said it was functioning illegally in its capacity as an NGO due to reports that there were weapons inside its headquarters in the capital. So what the court now has ruled is that that NGO is now banned, and of course its finances will be seized. And what we're expecting now is for the security forces to use this as a kind of carte blanche to go after all the other Muslim Brotherhood figures who aren't already in jail. There has already been a mass roundup of the leading members of the Muslim Brotherhood, including its ideological leader, the Badia, who's already in prison, their strongman Khaled al-Shatter, and even now rank and file picked up in various different protests. The Muslim Brotherhood is technically already a banned organisation. It was banned back in the 1950s. They basically registered as an NGO in March of this year to give them a kind of legal front. Now that is gone. This could basically mean that the government can do what they want with the organisation. What we're waiting for the moment is to see how this affects their political wing, the Freedom and Justice Party, which is registered under separate legislation as a political party. But what this ruling really does is allow the government and security forces to take it that one step further and possibly ban their political party and its members, which would really contradict their rhetoric, which is one of conclusion. They want to include the Muslim Brotherhood in the political path of the future of Egypt. If they do ban the political party and the NGO, then this is going to seriously contradict that. So we expect to see further protests on the horizon and possibly an escalation of this already very heavy crackdown.
Bel True there in Cairo. Well, for more analysis on this, let's cross live to London and talk to Ala Mohammed. She's a spokesperson for the British Egyptians for Democracy activist group. So is this really then the end of the Muslim Brotherhood as we've known it since the 2011 revolution?
Well, what we've seen there was very unsurprising. This is what all military coups do. As soon as they take power, they go and go after every single political party that was opposing them, and the ones they actually took out of power. So that's what we've seen with the Muslim Brotherhood. This is really not just about the Muslim Brotherhood. This is about every single political and social party, as well as individuals from all backgrounds and from all political parties that oppose the military coup. And this is again a politically motivated charge from the corrupt judiciary. We've seen it before, not just with the Muslim Brotherhood, we've seen it with Al-Baradei. Al-Baradei was the vice president of the interim government. When he actually resigned in protest to the killing, the killing in cold blood of the peaceful protesters, now he's got a charge against him, a very laughable charge of betraying national trust. So this is not about the Muslim Brotherhood anymore. This is about all the voices against the military junta.
But nevertheless, the Muslim Brotherhood was seen as being increasingly radicalized. Even weapons were allegedly found in its offices. The authorities had to do something, did they not?
What we have here is an illegitimate government. We've got an illegitimate military coup. Whatever they decide and whatever they rule is very motivated, and we have to ask about the background to these things. This is a witch hunt against anyone and everyone who calls for democracy. This is not, again, about the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood is a start. They start with somebody, but they will carry on hunting every single one. And they actually come up with these charges and these accusations to actually justify their killing, justify their arbitrary arrests, and justify their politically motivated charge. We've seen more than 12,000 people, peaceful Egyptians, arrested, most of them without charge. We've got over 200 women as we are speaking in custody. We've got more than 80 children. Minors are actually being taken into custody. Children who are simply out there voicing their rejection of the coup that's taken over Egypt, that's hijacking their dreams of democracy, of a better Egypt. Today and every day since the military military coup is a very dark day for the future of democracy in Egypt.
All right, so do you think that harsh measures implemented by the authorities will actually bring more support for, as you say, it's not just for the Muslim Brotherhood, but others who have political sentiments, political reasons there, political views? But itself, the Muslim Brotherhood, could it actually gain more support as a result of this, or is it really on its way out as a result of this crackdown?
Again, we've got a huge support for democracy in Egypt. The Muslim Brotherhood make a very small minority. They're about 15 to 20%. Let's not forget that the people on the street now are Egyptians from all backgrounds. Some of them are non-partisan. Some of them don't even support anybody. They're just there for a better future for themselves and for Egypt and for the future of the area, of the whole region as well. The Muslim Brotherhood are just used as a scapegoat for what the government, the interim, the coup government is doing.
Well, that's the question. That's the thing. You say interim. You said interim. This is an interim government, and of course the long-term promise is that this is going to pave the way for a democratic process in Egypt for elections. So is that not necessary in this time of transition for this sort of measurement to be taken?
We had a government that was elected freely by the Egyptian people for 4 years in power, and they were taken out of power by the bullets and the tanks by a military junta through a military coup. A military coup is an illegal, it doesn't have any legitimacy whatsoever. Anything built on a military coup cannot stand. What the Egyptians want is their voice to be heard through the ballot box, not through tanks, not through bullets, not through the cold killing of peaceful protesters. And what we're seeing now is the ramifications of this. We've got instability on the ground. We've got a very unstable economy at the moment. The military junta are insisting on driving the whole country and the entire nation through a very, very dark tunnel, and we are very worried for the future of democracy and the future of Egypt. What we've seen as well today, the schools, we've got 30 universities, both private and state-owned. We've seen massive protests by students, and now the school year is starting. Everyone is out again on the street saying this is not what we want for Egypt. We want democracy and nothing more.
Ala Mohammed, spokesperson for the British Egyptians for Democracy activist group, live in London. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here on RT.